Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for coming back. I know it's been a while. I know it's been a while since I made a video, so I'm really excited to get into this one. It's gonna be another story time. So yeah, let's get into it. So this story time is so embarrassing. I mean, I don't even know why I'm telling you, but I'm gonna tell it. But it's very embarrassing, but it is something that I really wanted to share. So let me just start by saying, this is about a crush of mine that I had. And the thing about me and the thing about my crushes is that when I have a crush, it's very rare that I have a crush, but when I do, it sticks. And it's very hard to let go, and it lasts for a long time. So this one in particular, it's about a boy, and I met him in second grade. It goes all the way back to second grade, and I had moved to this area of town, and we weren't in the same class, but I noticed him, and I just liked him from the jump. Like, I loved everything about him, and the next few years we actually had the same class together, so I was able to talk to him more and get to know him more, and we played together, and I was just in love with him. And anybody that knows me knows who I'm talking about. Anybody in my family, they know this guy's government name, like first and last name, and everything. Like, I would always talk about him. I was just obsessed with him. And I know you've been there. I know everybody's been there, but yeah, I was just so obsessed with this guy. So I had a crush on him all through elementary school, and unfortunately we moved away when I was in the 5th grade. And there was a couple years where we just lived in different parts of town, and then we came back to that area when I was in the 8th grade. And so that was cool because I knew he was in the area. He didn't go to the same school that I went to, but he was in the area. And in high school too, we didn't go to the same high schools, but again, he was very close to where I was. So around 12th grade is when I just got really, I don't know, obsessed. I never stopped thinking about him. Like, I had crushes a little bit here and there, but I mean, I never stopped thinking about him, and it made it worse because I had moved back to that area. So I was like, where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? So the antennas were up. I was ready to find him, and I know he didn't go to my school, and I didn't drive. So what was funny was that I would have my friends drive around town, like, looking for glimpses of him just on our free time. We wouldn't have anything to do. And you know what? Every time that we went to go look for him, I would find him. I just have great intuition. I'm psychic, because I always say I'm psychic, but for real, I am psychic, because we would always find him, and I would always coerce my friends into doing this, and they would always do it for me. They were real ones, because we would always be riding around town looking for him. We would go to the school. This would be our little hobby that we would do all the time, and it was just so fun for me to find him. There was this one website, because he played sports, and there was this one website where I would go to see, like, his pictures and whatever, and the website would show, like, what games were coming up. So I would go to the games. I would have people drive me to the games, and we'd park, like, super far out, and I would just watch him from a distance, and it was just really pathetic, and I loved every second of it. But I got really bold. That wasn't enough. I was seeing him from the distance, and I would see his car, I would see his silhouette, but I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to get to know him better. We were older now, so it's different. So what happened was, I looked in the phone book back in the day when everybody's number was on the phone book, at least the house number. So I remember I looked and I found his number from the last name. And I remember I was this bold. I ended up calling him on his house number. I wanted to talk to him, but before I did, I would write down everything I wanted to say, literally questions about what I wanted to talk about. And I would be, like, ready, and I would, like, breathe, get my nerve up, and then I would call him. And I don't know why I did this, but I was just like, this is not enough, and I went for it. And so I called. I remember one of the first times I called, and his dad would answer, and he'd be like, hey, I'd tell him who I was. It's like, it's Sequoia. And he'd be like, okay, which was great for me because he didn't ask no questions, and I blew right past him. And then I would get to him. I remember the first time I talked to him. I was like, hey, it's Sekoya. And he was like, Sekoya? I was like, yeah, you know, it's Sekoya. I remember from elementary school. He was like, oh, yeah. Like, very confused, probably very thrown off, very offset. And I was like, yeah, you know, I remember you signed a little book at the end of the year with your phone number and lying. And yeah, I still have it. So yeah, I just thought I'd call. Too much. And he was like, oh, okay. How you been? Like, he started talking to me. So I went right through my line of questions, asking him. And then it was so stupid because at the end of the questions, I would just, okay, bye-bye. You know, like just fly through my questions. And then I just wanted to talk to him. I just wanted to hear his voice. He was so nice. His family was so nice. Nobody questioned it, but I was surprised that he talked to me. The initial response was surprise, but then I was like, he talked to me. This is the go. This is the green light. Like, I'm in there, you know? So I was so excited. I was so pumped up. I was like, look. And then I was going to the games and then calling him about, I was being like good. I would only do it once a week, but I would have my questions and I would call him once a week. And then like, it just became this thing where I would legit call him every week, talk to him every week, see him at his games. And it was just a thing. And I was just living my best life. I mean, I just miss that about like me because I used to be very like persistent, aggressive when it was something that I really wanted. I mean, I'm still like that to an extent, but like you couldn't tell me nothing back in the day. Like if it was something that I wanted, I went with it all my might. And, you know, I really used all my resources and I just went for it. And I just was really that gutsy. And, you know, it paid off every single time that I wanted to do something or wanted to get something and I went for it, I got it. And so we would talk and it was so bad that he would see me at the games and then I would call him for our little talk and he would be like, okay, so I have a game, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, I don't even have to look at the website. Like he's fucking telling me, thank you. I'll be there. And, you know, it became this thing where I would just go, well, I had a little situation where my brother, he came to me and he was like, Corey, I need you to go get my car. And I had just graduated and I had my permit. I did not have my license yet, but my brother was like, that's good enough. At least you got that. And I need you to go pick up my car. It broke down and it overheated and I need you to go get it for me. And this was the time that I was like learning how to drive. I didn't really, you know how to drive. I had like been experimenting with this or that car. As you know, I eventually fully learned how to drive on my own, just with my own car. But I was taking any chance that I can get to drive anybody's car and he knew that. So he was like, go pick up my car. I really don't want to get it. And, you know, I was like, hey. And at the time, my friend was visiting me at my house. So she came with me and we took the train. It was like 2 stops. It was very short. And we went to go get his car, which had broke down like right on the freeway exit. And I remember we got the car. I was so excited because I had a car in my hands. And usually when it came to this guy, I would always get my friends to drive me around and like look for him and da-da-da-da. Well, this time I had a car. So I was like, you know what? I could go home or I could not. And I could go to his fucking house. And I was like, girl, we about to go. And I got in the car. I was so happy. I remember we drove. And on the way there, I called. I was like, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, he was very short with me. He was like, I have friends over, Sekoya. I can't talk right now. I was like, okay. But I was like, you know, I hung up, but I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still going over there. So we get over there and we're driving and he lived in a court. So I remember we were driving and I turned the lights off. I was driving very slow. And I remember going around the court. We were getting there halfway through the court. You know, we're turning left and the car breaks down. The car broke down. And literally he lives in the middle of the court. So it broke down right in front of his house. I cannot tell you the terror that I felt. I was fucking terrified. I was mortified. I was like, no. If this was the worst thing that can happen, it happened. You know what I mean? Imagine stalking somebody, not even supposed to be there, and you're driving a hot car, a car that's broken and could overheat at any moment, and it did, right in front of your crush's house. Man, I had no business being there, and this was like my karma. I should have foreseen it with my psychic abilities, but bitch, I didn't. And I was so scared. And my friend was like, what are we gonna do? We started panicking. But me, I'm a solution-minded person. So I was like, okay, what can I do? You know, I was thinking like, man, let me just call him. And I was like, oh, this would be the worst I could do, but I have to do it because we are stuck. And I was like, let me just call him, see if he can come outside. And I was like, man, all his friends are here. His parents are here. Like, this is not how I wanted to meet him, but I will meet him because we need to get up out of here. And we need to jump or something, water. I don't know what was wrong with that car. So I called him, and he didn't answer. I called him like 7 times, 10 times. I was just calling back to back to back, and nobody was answering until his mom answered. And she was like, oh, he's with his friends right now and he can't come. And if you keep calling, we're going to call the cops. What? Like, why would you threaten a kid to call the cops on them? But I mean, I get it because I was stalking, but like, damn. I was like, in my mind, I was irritated with her because at the end of the day, like, that was not the answer that I wanted. I wanted to hear, hey, how can I help you? You know, he's busy right now. Are you okay? You know, like, you know, I'm calling 50 times. Shit, it's not like I'm just doing that. I never did that before. But I mean, that was in my head. I was like so irritated with her because I was like, this is not going to solve our problem. But sitting in the car, broke down. I was thinking about it. I was like, well, you know, I'm not a cop caller. That's not my first instinct, you know. But if she's going to do it, maybe the cop, when he gets here, he can give us a job. You know, that's how fucking delusional I was, because who really thinks that somebody's calling the cops on you so you can get arrested for stalking and harassing somebody, but in your mind, you're like, well, maybe they can help us out. You know, like, that's just the level that I was on at that point. You could not tell me nothing. I was just like, you know what, girl, if you don't want to help us, bye. And I was like thinking to my friend, I was like, you know, I got to make some moves. Really, what I was thinking was like, bitch, if anybody comes out here, I cannot be caught here. They know me. They know my face. I call every week. They know my voice. I call here every week. So I was like, I have to get out of here. And so it was like a fight or flight moment where I was like, you know what? I have to save myself. And it was being such a bad friend, but at the time I did not give a fuck. I was like, you know what, girl? You know what? And I was like super manipulative. I was like, you know what we should do? I will go find us help. They don't want to help us. So I will go find us help. I will go get someone. I know somebody right down the street. I have a friend. I have a homegirl. She's right down the street. So she will help us and she will give us a jump. Just give me a second. She was not happy about it. But I mean, like, at that point, what could we do? You know what I mean? We had no other options. They weren't answering. They were about to call the cops on us. So I was like, whatever, I'll go get us help. So I remember I got out of the car and I fucking ran for my life. I ran out of there so fucking fast. Like, I never ran before. I got out of there. Luckily, my friend, I did really have a friend. I wasn't lying to the girl. I had a friend who lived right down the street. And, oh, thank God for her. I ran to her house, and she was a real one. She's the type of friend that you can knock on her door at any hour, and she will come. And so I knocked on her door, because by this time, it was like 9-something, damn near 10, if not. And I knocked on her door. I was like, you gotta help me. You gotta help me. I was like out of breath. My chest was like contracting. I was like, girl, you gotta help me. You gotta help me. I told her the whole story. She knew everything about the situation because she was one of the ones that would drive me around town. So I was like, yeah, we're stuck over there by the court. We need to get out of there. We need to jump. I was giving her the rundown. And during that time that I was giving her the rundown, a fucking cop shows up. I know they called the cops on us. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, no fucking way. I was freaking out. I was so irritated. I was so scared. I was just like, what the fuck? Because it was one thing for her to say it, but like the cops really showed up. So this is a residential. There's no busy intersections. There was no main streets. It was all residential, and it was the middle of the night. What the fuck is the cop doing here? It had to have been them. So I remember I was like, we were standing outside of her house. I never went inside. And I remember we were talking and the cop showed up and they stopped. I was like, fuck, I'm going to jail. I don't even know. I was like, whatever, just fuck, this is it. This is it. This is it, you know? And I remember the cop comes out and he goes, are you ladies okay? I was like, yeah, we're okay. And I was playing it off, but I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And he was like, yeah, well, are you sure everything's okay? And I was like, yeah, we're just sitting outside talking. I'm talking to my friend right now. And he was like, okay, all right, well, and then he got back in his car and he drove off. And I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, so much for the protection. Like, I was literally like, damn, I feel like they try to get me and they call the cops on me. And because what else are they doing in that area? What else are they doing in that area? So I remember I was like, girl, if that wasn't a sign that we need to get the fuck out of here, I don't know what is, you know what I mean? So she's like, okay, I'll give you a jump. And, you know, throughout that whole time we were talking, it had been some time. And I was thinking about my friend in the back of my head, but really, I was just like glad to be safe. And I was like, I wonder if she went to the house. I wonder if she knocked on the door because she knew where the house was. I was like, I wonder if she asked for help or if they came outside, you know. But sure enough, speaking of the devil, like here she comes with the car driving and she parks right there. And I didn't know how she found my friend's house. Maybe because she saw us standing outside, but she parks right in front. I was like, how did you get here? How did you get here? Oh my God. And I was like so happy to see her. And I was like, yes, we're free. We don't need to jump. Oh my God. I was so happy. I was like, how did you get here? She's like, the car just started. She was pissed. She was pissed. She was really mad at me. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her because I left her for dead. I literally left her and ran for my life at that point. And so she was like, the car just started. And I was like, okay. I was so happy. Like, I didn't even give a fuck about her attitude. I was like, I'll deal with that later. You know, I don't care. I don't care because we're fine now. We're free. We're free to go. And I promised myself, I was like, I'll never do nothing stupid like this again. And I was just so happy to be free. And so I was like, yay. Like, bitch, I'll buy McDonald's or whatever at that, you know. Back in the day, it really only took something small like that. So I was like, yay! And we drove out of there and I drove the car back to my mom's house and that was it. But oh my gosh, I never called him after that again. I never went over down that court again. There was no risk in it no more. Like I was done with that. I was like, fuck it. The gig is up. You know, the gig is up. Like that was a good run. But obviously I'm not really good at this stalking business because look what happened. But even crazier was that like a couple years after that whole incident, I ended up going to one of those little cheapy fairs, one of those fairs that's in like the parking lot of the grocery store. And I remember I went there and it was crazy because I went on that one ride. It looks like a spaceship and you get stuck to the fucking wall of it and it spins you around and it's like a gravity thing. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I like that ride. And I remember I got on it and it was so much fun. I got on it twice and I shouldn't have did the second time. Those stupid cheapy rides. I got on and it was cool in the moment, but then when I got off, I felt sick. And I was like, I don't feel good. You know, I never had motion sickness before, but I was like, I really don't feel good. So I remember we were driving, my friends were driving me. I was like, y'all got to pull over because I do not feel good, you know? And just, I know it's TMI, but I was like, I got to throw up. So we stopped at the mall and we went behind the mall so I could do my business. And it was like the little Sears or whatever. And I remember I threw up, I did my business. And then I remember I was going back to the car and lo and behold, guess who comes out of the fucking Sears? This guy. The same guy right after I'm like a hot mess, thrown up. Life is so funny. Life is so funny, right? Life is so funny because of all the times, of all the places he could be. He was right there after I threw up and was looking a hot mess. And I was like, okay, life, okay, just trying to ruin me because what the fuck? And I remember I was like, I could spot him from 50 miles away. I was like, I said his name and I was like, hey, and he was like, Sequoia? I was like, hi, and I was fucked up and I was trying to play it off, but it was so whack, and I was like, hey, and he was like, how are you? You know, and I was like, I'm doing good, looking good, feeling good. Like, what the fuck was I even saying? And he was like, okay. He was like, well, he was trying to get on it. He was trying to get away from me. Like, he was like, oh, well, I was supposed to go meet the girlfriend at this bar. So, you know, I guess I'll see you later. And I was like, whatever, I'll see you. So embarrassing. I don't get embarrassed anymore because I really don't care. But I remember, like, back in the day when I still cared, that was one of the last months I was like super embarrassed. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, this guy that you loved for half your life just fucking there, and you just threw up and you're a hot mess and sweating, and here he is, and he has a girlfriend, and it's just like so whack. He's trying to get rid of you, and I'll never forget that. So that was actually the last time that I saw him. And, you know, I don't even look. I don't even go on Facebook anymore. My stalking days are over. And if he ever watches this video, you know, I hope the statute of limitations is passed and I can't get sued for this, or he doesn't come for me, or his mama don't come for me, because she's known to be about that life. But, yeah, I just, you know, I hope they don't sue me, because damn. You know, I was really about that life. I was really into that. I was really into him. And, you know, I always said, like, I would never like somebody that much where I would stalk them, or I would get on their, I guess now there's social media. Like, I would never do that. Like, it's just not that deep. I've been there. I've done that on a crazy level. You know, I know there's crazier, but shit, I ain't trying to get to that level. And I don't know. I just feel like I do on some end kind of miss that tenacity, that just like, you want something, you go for it. Nothing can get in your way. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can, like, you know, keep you from what it is that you want. And I miss that about me, because I used to not give a fuck, really, about nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was going to get what I want by any means necessary. And, I mean, I still got it in me, but I got things to live for. I'm not trying to go to jail. So, you know, I don't go to that extent, but I still feel it in me sometimes when I'm really, really determined. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go to those lengths again. But yeah, so that's the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was just a crazy moment in my life, and I don't know if the guy will ever see this. Maybe I'll send it to him just to be bold and just do one of those again and just go back to that old Sequoia. But I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But yeah, hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time.